Aite for moving out of my paternal grandparents' house and going no contact with them after they ambushed me with my half-siblings, using a throwaway account to keep my real name and personal info away from this. I'm my father's affair kid. He was married and had 4 kids when he met my mother. She was kept in the dark about his wife and kids, and then when she got pregnant, he bailed. When she learned the truth, she flipped. She told the wife about their affair, and that she was pregnant with me, 17M. When I was born, she wasn't fit to raise me, and I was taken in by my father and his wife. My father's wife and kids, half-siblings, resented me. I lived there until I was 7. My father wasn't able to keep me safe from his wife and kids' hatred, and I don't think he cared enough about me to try either. There was an incident, as it has always been called, with my father's wife. She slapped me so hard I fell down the stairs, and my paternal grandparents stepped in and took me. Everyone did their best to hide the fact she hit me, and I was warned I would be in big trouble if I said anything. So I kept my mouth shut and was afraid for 2 years that someone would come and hurt me worse. Nobody got me medical attention either. I was happy enough with my paternal grandparents. They were nicer than my father and his wife, and they didn't treat me like a walking disease. But taking me in made things complicated because my half-siblings refused to visit, and they told them dozens of times that they didn't like them taking me in. They felt like I betrayed them and their mom. My grandparents always hated it, and they would find ways to meet my half-siblings without giving me up. What ended up happening was they helped me find info on my maternal grandparents, and I'd visit them when my grandparents wanted to see their other grandkids. A few months ago, my grandparents started talking about my half-siblings more. They'd say things like, they wondered if we could be closer now that we were all older. And they said, my half-siblings understood them taking me in. What they didn't say was my half-siblings understood our grandparents' actions, but still found me repulsive and didn't want to know me or see me or act like I existed. My grandparents didn't tell me this, but they did ambush me and my half-siblings with a surprise. Let's get everyone into one room and talk. They told my half-siblings they had to kick me out, and my half-siblings let their guard down and came over at my grandparents' request while I was home. I got no warning. So they came over and saw me, and they went crazy and started yelling and saying all this shit about me. My grandparents kept saying we're siblings, and we should band together. I think that's what they said. My half-siblings were like, we told you that repulsive little stain is not our brother, and we want nothing to do with him. I was hurt that my grandparents were told that, and still put me through it. Then my half-siblings said they wished their mom had taken me out. They called me a disgusting affair baby and left. My grandparents looked ready to cry, and they acted like they were the ones hurt worst by that. I asked why they'd put me through that, and they tried to justify it. They said we'd have to try again. I was like, WTF, and I took a couple of days, but I was so upset. It was worse that they were throwing their own pity party, and didn't even apologize to me. They said I should have tried to reach out when my half-siblings were there. I called my maternal grandparents and told them what happened and asked if I could live with them. They drove over the next day and drove me to their place. I took all the stuff that was mine with me. My grandparents tried to get me to stay, and they were getting mad. They said they did so much for me, even the ambush with my half-siblings, and I owed them more than leaving. I said they didn't care what it did to me, so why should I stay? They texted a bunch since. I replied that I was done, and I blocked them. But they keep trying to get in touch via my maternal grandparents. I know they took me when they didn't have to and lost years with my half-siblings because of it. But it doesn't feel like they love me in the way I wish they did, because they weren't super loving and didn't try to stand up for me over what happened. They helped hide what my father's wife did. But they still took me in, so IDK if I'm being too harsh. Aita,